Okay. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to send all praises and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakak, Kadash, Barak, Adam. This is your brother, Kabash, coming at you with the, here in Fort Lauderdale. This is my first time prophesying, and Lord willing, I'm just going to let the Spirit guide me, and allow the Most High to use me as a vessel. I'm here downtown Fort Lauderdale, and I'm here to talk about the Esau and also about the 12 tribes of Israel. First thing I want to go into is who is Esau? Okay, who is Esau? All right. Basic understanding. You can go to Genesis 25, starting at verse 19. Okay. Genesis 25, starting at verse 19. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac. Isaac what? Okay, let me start at the top, verse 19. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac, took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel the Syrian, and Padan Aram, the sister of Laban, this sister to Laban the Syrian. Verse 21, and Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah his wife conceived, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, if be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. So yeah, man. So since ever since Esau and Jacob were in the belly, you know, they were fighting each other then, you know. And when you go down to verse 23, it says, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one shall be stronger than the other. The elder shall serve the younger. Okay, all right, and that's that's getting ready to come into play right now. That transition is getting ready to come in play right now. Okay, the so-called blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics are getting ready to be on top because Esau's kingdom is about to fall right now. Okay, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. The first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Okay, Esau. Okay, who are the so-called Caucasians. Okay, all right. Verse 26, and after that came his brother out, and after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was Jacob. Okay, and you know, and Jacob is the forefather of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Okay, and Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them, and the boys grew. Okay, all right, you know, so that's like a basic understanding of where about Esau and Jacob. Also, the time, you know, when they were conceived. Okay, now the title that that the Most High put on me to push today was who is Esau? Okay, Esau is the brother of Jacob. Okay, all right, and he's the son of Isaac. Okay, all right. Now I'm gonna get into some other things that tell you who Esau is also. Okay, all right. When you go to let's go to Genesis chapter 36. Okay, Genesis chapter 36. Okay, this is the book of Genesis chapter 36. 36 and 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. Okay? Now, when you go into that word Edom, which basically means red, okay? And then, now if you go back to Genesis 25, and Genesis 25 and 25, it says, and the first came out red all over, like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. Okay? So what other nationality, what other nation on the planet, what other group of people on the planet came out red? Okay? And I'm not talking about a mixed red bone or, you know, a so-called white Hispanic. Back then the nations were pure. Okay? So what group of people now fix that description today? Okay? They're your so-called Caucasians. Okay? Alright? Now, I'm going to tell you this. Don't get discouraged for all you so-called, if you call yourself a Caucasian, because in the scriptures it does say that, you know, our people were scattered among the nations. Okay? So, yeah, you may have white skin, so-called white skin. Okay? But you may, if your lineage goes back to your father and your father's an Israelite, then you an Israelite. Okay? Scriptures say we got to, roughly paraphrasing, you know, we got to, you know, test the spirit. All right? I've seen plenty of, especially with my job I do, I've seen plenty of people I pick up who have so-called white skin, but, you know, they have the soul of an Israelite. They got that vibe, that vibration, they got that salt. Okay? All right? Okay? Now, let me go back to Genesis 36 and 8. Okay, this is the book of Genesis 36 and 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Okay, Esau is Edom. Okay, all right. When you go into that word Seir in the blue letter, for this, I use the blue letter as a tool to, you know, to look up scriptures and stuff like that. You know. And sometimes the blue letter does change, you know. Seer means hairy, shaggy, okay? What other group of people came out are hairy, you know? I mean, come on, it's your so-called Caucasians, okay? So-called white people, okay? All right? Esau, meaning hairy. Edom means red, okay? All right? All right, let's go to 1 John. Chapter 3. Is that 1 John? I think it's 1 John chapter 3. I hope I didn't make a mistake. Let's see, 1 John. Okay. Okay, 1 John chapter 3, verse 8. Okay. He that committeth sin is of the devil, for the devil sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose, the Son of Yahweh, was manifested that he might destroy the works of the devil. Okay? All right? Now, who is the devil today? Okay? Think of the devil, you know, the devil is just not one person. Okay? I think, let me see, when you go into that word devil, I think it actually meant like a group of people, according to the blue letter. But let me check. I thought I had it written down here. But a lot of when you go into that word devil too, it also means deceiver. Okay? Let me go into the blue letter and get that verse. Let's see. 1 John 3 and 8. Oh, okay. 1 John 3 and 8. Okay, let's read it again. He that committeth sin is of the devil, for the devil sinneth from the beginning. Okay, and what's that beginning he's talking about? Well, he's talking about from the time of Adam and Eve. Okay, as soon as I bring this out, we'll go back to that actually. All right. Okay. Let's go into that word devil.
12:28. Diabolos.
Diabolos. Okay. 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 When you go into the blue letter, that word devil means applied to a man by opposing the cause of Yahweh, made said to act the part of the devil or side with him. Okay. So these devils are basically partnering up with Shaitan, and they are acting like they're devils too. They are devils. They're deceivers. Okay. All right. Look at America, man. America has deceived many nations, especially the Native American. All right. And America is still going out trying to deceive other nations now, but these other nations are catching on to what they're doing. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's read that verse again, and then I'm gonna bring out Genesis. It says, okay, 1 John 3rd chapter and 8th verse. He that committeth sin is of the devil, for the devil sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose, the Son of Yahweh was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. Okay, and that's talking about Yahweh Shai. Okay, but let's go back to the beginning. Okay, which is Genesis 3 and verses 1 through 6. Genesis. Come on. Genesis 3, verses 1 through 6. Okay. Now, in 1 John 3 and 8, it says, "For the devil sinneth from the beginning." You know, roughly paraphrasing. Okay. Now, to prove that, let's go back to Genesis, 3rd chapter, 1 through 6. Okay. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord power had made. And he said unto the woman, okay, ye hath Yahweh said, ye shall not eat every tree of the garden. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yahweh hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest you die. Okay, now listen to what the serpent said to Eve. Okay, now let's go back. What did 1 John and 3 say? 1 John 3 and 8 say? Let's go back to it. He that committeth sin is of the devil, for the devil sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of Yahweh was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. Who's that devil is talking about? Okay. Oh, he's talking about Esau. Okay. All right. The Edomites. Okay. Okay. Wait a minute. Let me go back. Okay. Let me start at the top of it again. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord, thy power had made. And he said unto the woman, ye have said, hath Yahweh said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. But the woman said, oh, come on. But, come on. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the tree of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yahweh said, ye shall not eat of it, neither ye shall touch it, lest ye die. Okay? And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. Okay? See? Speaking lies. And that's talking about you know, these other religions and stuff like that, these other doctrines and stuff like that. Yo, man, you know, if you go off and worship other gods and stuff, you know, go on your own understanding, man, you gonna die. Okay? But the serpent told Eve that she would not surely die. And you see that today in these churches, man. You know, you see these pork chop eating preachers giving these women false philosophies, giving them some of that fake fruit. You know, the fruit that they shouldn't be eating from. You know, all right. First of all, it says the Most High dwells in men. The Most High does not dwell in temples made with hands. Worth you paraphrase, you know, and but these women go to these churches, you know, and you know the Most High does not dwell there. The only thing that dwells there is wickedness, demons, you know, all kinds of messed up spirits, you know, and you call it the Holy Ghost. No, it's not the Holy Ghost. All right. All right. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and it was pleasant in her eyes, okay. What the women when women see churches, what do they see? They see pretty cathedrals. They see pretty padded pews. They see beautiful paintings of Cesare Borgia, you know, when they go to church. Okay? All right? And that's those demons you have on you. You know what I'm saying? All right? The Most High dwells in temples made. The Most High does not dwell in temple made with hands. Okay? All right? Okay? And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, okay, and that it was pleasant in her eyes, okay, in her eyes, meaning it looked good, it was carnal, it was something carnal, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit of, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband, and he did eat. Okay? All right? So that serpent sinned from the beginning because he deceived Eve. That's what devils do. They deceive. Okay? And he's teaching all these ministers. Okay? He's preaching a lot to these, especially these Jake ministers, you know, on how to talk to the congregation and stuff like that, on how to deceive you, and especially how to get you women. Okay? Esau is a deceiver. Okay? He's a deceiver. He's a devil. Okay? Alright? That's who Esau is. Alright? Now, I want to break down subtile. Because in it said in verse 1, now the serpent was more subtile than any beast of the field. Okay, now when you go into that word subtile, it means crafty, sly, prudent. Okay, and when you go into that word serpent, I think I got this from the definition from serpent. I got it from Google. A sly or treacherous person, especially one who exploits a position of trust to betray it. Who's that talking about? Who's the one that went around conquering the world? what group of people went around conquering the world? Now, it certainly wasn't us. Okay? All right? Now, when you go in the scriptures, when you can read about a certain dream that Nebuchadnezzar had, and it talks to you about certain empires that ruled during certain periods of time. Okay? But these Edomites, you know, once they got into power, wickedness just spread throughout the earth. And Lord will not get into that. Okay? All right. Now, I think I said before how I broke down what a serpent does. A sly or treacherous person, especially one who exploits a position of trust to betray it. Okay? Look at the Native Americans. Look at the so-called natives in South America, man. Okay? A lot of treaties were broken, especially with the tribe of Gad, Reuben. You know, a lot of treaties were broken, man. You know, because of this devil. Because he saw the resources that that Gad had, and you know, made treaties, and Gad was teaching them all kinds of things. You know, the white man made agreements with them and broke them. Basically broke them. Okay. Now, let's go into the book of Psalm. Let's see here. Let's go to the book of Psalm. 55. All right, let's go into the book of Psalm 55. And I think it was 21. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Okay? And I should have read further down in the book of Genesis, but I'm going to get there. Okay, it says the words of his mouth were smoother than butter. So Esau, since he's a deceiver, he's a fast talker. Okay? Esau can sell you things. Okay? Esau can tell you, oh, you know, he can tell you got cancer, but he can tell you, oh, you're going to be all right. And just because he's an Edomite, a lot of our people believe him. You know? His words were smoother than butter, man. Smooth. He's fast with words. You know? Esau has a very broad vocabulary. Very broad vocabulary. Okay? But war was in his heart. Okay? You know? Especially when you go into some of these Jake communities and stuff like that, you have Esau going in there trying to sell you things and trying to like, there's a new thing going on right now called gentrification has been going on for a long time, but you know, Esau's going in these black communities talking about, oh, we want to, you know, and I'm just, you know, speaking from what I've heard from the radio and stuff like that, but Esau's going in there and buying land in the hoods now because his land on the beaches are getting flooded. Okay, that's what's going on here in South Florida now. You got little Haiti out there. I mean, in down south, Miami, and especially here too. There's a place called Six Trump, and gentrification is moving in. You know, gentrification is happening, but especially in little Haiti, man. I think that land is more elevated than it is with South Beach, and a lot of developers are seeing that. They see that. You know, they know that, so they're going in that property, buying up property, and raising up the rent for in that area. And you know, those poor Levites out there, man, they can't afford to live there no more. They can't afford to have their business there no more, because Edomites are going in there and buying up everything. But they're going in there talking to people, you know, because the scripture just said, his words were smoother than butter, saying, look, we'll give you such and such this, you know, and, you know, we'll give you a few $100,000 or, you know, $80,000 for your property, blah, 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 and just taking over everything, you know. But, you know, Jake, man, if you living around a rundown neighborhood, of course, that's what you're going to do, you know. Some Jake might do that. The majority of Jake could do that, you know. But they're not thinking, okay, this is the community I live in, and it's getting ready to be overrun by Esau. You know, we're being kicked out. But hey, that's one of Esau's blessing is the sword, man. You know, and Esau uses money as a weapon, okay, to get what he wants. Okay, he can use the sword, or he can use his money to get what he wants. Okay. Okay, I got a little big off topic there. But the main point is, man, Esau is a deceiver. Okay? It says the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. Okay? So anytime Esau tries to speak good things to you, smooth things to you, okay, he doesn't have intentions of doing good. He has intentions of doing wicked. Okay? He has intentions of doing wicked. But war was in his heart. His words were softer than the oil. Yet were they drawn swords. Okay? Alright? Esau's like this. It's like this is a sword right here. Esau talking to you, hey, what's going on? I want to, you know, want to do this for you, you know what I'm saying? You know? But yet he has a sword behind his back, and when he hugs you, boom, he got you in the back. You know? He's a murderer. Okay? He's also a murderer. Alright, got a little off topic there, but we're gonna keep it moving. Okay. Alright, let's go back to the book of Genesis. Cause you know Esau was given the sword also. Okay. The book of Genesis, I think that was 25. Actually, okay, book of Genesis. The book of Genesis 27, and starting at verse 39. Okay. All right. It says, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above. Okay? So yeah, you got Esau living in these lavish places, you know, on the beachfront. And I know like in South Beach, they have a lot of emulate down there, a lot of so-called Jews. So-called Jews, they're not real Jews. The place where I'm at right now, downtown Fort Lauderdale, there are a lot of Edomites here. Okay? I don't need to go into that word fat, basically. But yeah, Esau basically had to have the nicer places of the earth. Why? Why does he? Because first of all, well, let me get into that actually. I didn't get into it. Let me get into it. Okay. Let me read Genesis again, 27 and 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by the sword, okay, and by the sword, okay, and by the sword shalt thou live, and thou shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from off his neck. Okay? So, right now, who's ruling right now? When you go into that word sword, it actually means a large knife used for killing animals and cutting flesh. Okay, at that time, you know, doing back in the ancient world, you know, that's how that was Esau. Okay, we're still Esau blessing, but the sword was the main weapon. Like now, today's sword is the gun, nukes, intercontinental missiles. Okay, that's Esau's blessing. Okay, all right. And since he has the fatness of the earth, you know, he can set up military bases and stuff like that to position himself for battle, just in case something happens, just in case something pops off. You know. All right. Okay. Let's go into verse. Let's go to Genesis 27 again, verse 40. And by thy sword thou shalt thou live, and serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Okay. So right now Esau's in power. He's still flexing his muscles because he has a sword right now. Look at Russia. Russia flexing their muscles. Okay. The United States. Okay. Donald Trump sent out an order to kill the head of the army commander in Iran. Okay. Basically, we already know what he's doing. He's setting up what? Let me see what. Okay, yeah, I'm still. But he's already he's setting. I mean, he's